Take 10. It's a little different today. Dr. Gayla is interviewing pastors' wives from all over the United States of America and getting their take on how they handle their issues and everyone else's. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, this is a personal question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you be discreet and sidestep controversial issues?
So I really don't necessarily sidestep controversial issues. I was raised in a very liberal home. We discussed absolutely everything, politics, religion, everything. So there are things that are being asked of me because I'm still out in community. I'm a member of clubs that have nothing to do with the church. And I work for women's causes, and women's causes tend to be controversial. So I don't necessarily sidestep them. I realize that there are certain things that can't be spoken of in social media, but it doesn't mean that you and I can't have a one-on-one conversation. So a lot of times what I tell people when they say, well, what do you feel about politics? Or what do you feel about this or that? Come have dinner with me and I'll talk to you face to face.
That's good.
Let's talk face to face. I want you to see my face and I want you to hear my voice. And I don't necessarily have to write it out. So let's go talk face to face. And that really helps. A lot of people don't take you up on that.
Yeah. Like, whoa, she's going to be real. She's serious.
But that's how I handle it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. When dealing with the opposite sex,
yes,
what would you do if someone comes on to you, begins to flirt with you, be suggestive?
I'm usually not alone with men at all. In fact, I make it a practice in our ministry that I do not counsel anyone alone. I do not have meetings with men alone, not even other ministers. There is always someone with me. I make sure that that's just a practice. That way nothing can be said later. When someone flirts, I walk away. I typically don't engage that at all. That can be really dangerous. And I don't kid around in that way. So I just keep myself out of that fray.
Right. Because you have no way of trusting what someone else is going to go off and say about you.
And the thing
lie about you.
The thing about it is that we can walk away from a one-on-one conversation and you can say something I never said.
Right.
And now it's your word against my word, and I can say that never even was discussed. And so there's just no point in that. Just make it a policy not to be in a room alone with someone that can destroy your ministry and your marriage and everything that you've worked so hard for and everything that your husband has worked so hard for, and it's just not necessary.
Not necessary. Just put some safety in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the most recent spiritual thought that has impacted you greatly that you are now studying and meditating on?
Wow. The idea of generational curses, which, I lost my father in December. We had a very difficult relationship. It was estranged for many years. But I need to understand who he is. I need to understand what made him do the things that he did, because I carry his DNA and I'm his inheritance. And if I don't understand what happened, if I just reject what happened in his life, I may be bound to make those same mistakes.
Yes.
So I really need to understand his heart. And through that, I was able to just he never talked about his childhood very often. He never talked about his early years very often. But what I know is that he had a mother who wanted to be an actress. And so she was in Hollywood. So they were in boarding school. Mm-hmm. So I know there wasn't a lot of parental figure there. I know that he was sent to the military, to the Korean War at 17. He was a ranger, and so they jumped out of airplanes and into some heavy things. You couldn't walk up to my father if he was asleep and tap him to wake him up. He woke up screaming and jumping. And so I don't know, those are just a couple of things that I know about his growing up. So what caused him to be who he was? Was it rejection from an early age? Well, I need to guard my heart over that because I'm his inheritance. Because those things can fall upon me if I don't understand his heart. So that lately for me has been what I'm reading about, what I'm studying, life patterns, and all that goes with that.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Earlier, you were telling me about the devotional that's part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
And that you said, listen to this. And you read something to me. I would love you to share that.
It was so powerful. My devotion this morning. Let me just grab that.
Hopefully you have daily devotional things that inspire you. Just little tidbits that give you things to think about in your day.
It said expectations. We all have them. Many of us push against them. The piano playing, be silent, and always agreeable expectations of previous generations have given way to a be at everything, teach all Bible studies, be perfect and always happy, and lead the women's ministry kind of expectations. When we allow other people's expectations or even expectations of ourselves to have the power to shape us into the kinds of women and leaders we should be, rather than the God who called us into ministry in the first place, we find ourselves quickly trapped in that prison otherwise known as a pedestal. As Gloria Steinem said, a pedestal is as much a prison as any small confined space. We have to learn to reframe expectations in the light of God's word. This is so freeing, learning that many of our expectations cannot and should not be met liberates us from the confining prisons of trying to measure up to impossible standards. We need to learn and rest in some essential truths. We are not omniscient. It is impossible to know all the answers, both biblically and spiritually, to all things in life, relationship, parenting, marriage, and the many struggles that come from relationships. We cannot have every line of scripture stuffed into our heads. We cannot be the sole source for wisdom, counsel, and advice. We are not God, neither are you, and that's a good thing. We are not omnipresent. We cannot be at every baby shower, wedding, surgery, hospital bed, women's ministry event, small group party, and leadership meeting while still making it to every soccer game, school performance, PTA meeting, date night, and birthday party. It is not possible. We cannot be in all places at all times. We are not God, and neither are you, and that's a good thing. We are not omnipotent. It is not possible to have a life free of struggle, weakness, and heartache. It's not even in our own ability to handle anything that life and people throw our way. We are not perfect. We are not all-powerful. We are not God, neither are you, and that's a good thing. You know, I read that this morning and I realized I just have a grateful heart. And we need to realize that we all have seasons. And I think the expectation today is that we are women who need to have it all. And I believe that we can. We can have it all. We just can't have it all at once. We have to recognize our season. And I think that social media has this comparison thing. But you need to decide if you're going to get into the comparison trap, or you're going to learn to be a friend to other women. And you can't do both at the same time. You can't. So put down those expectations of what everyone has for you and be who God called you to be. That's the best thing.
That's the best thing. Thank you for joining us today. We know that you have been strengthened and encouraged from these talks. Thank you, Susan.
I know you enjoyed that. Who else would benefit from this Take 10? Take a moment right now and share this email, share this post. We want to get the word out that pastors' wives are important. We know they face troubles. We know they face troubles, and they are not alone. Share it with your pastor's wife today. Stay tuned for tomorrow for the next part of this interview.